Well, good morning, podcast community. Good morning, local business owners. This is a special podcast because by being a part of this podcast, you're going to increase your chances of success. And we all get in business to succeed, but not everybody does. So there's key things to remember that'll help you increase your chances of being successful in business. And our guest is going to go into the cash flow strategies. These are strategies for you to use in your business, especially in those early days, because there's a lot of decisions you have to make. And the number one decision you better be focused on is cash flow. So, Rich, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
My name is Rich Biro. I'm the owner of Blue Tree Advantage. We provide virtual accounting services, your day-to-day bookkeeping to keep your financials up to date and in real time to help you make good business decisions. So we help the small businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, uh, revenue of up to a few $1,000,000, and try to help them grow.
Well, that's for those viewers out there, I want to be full disclosure and transparent with you. Rich is my CPA. He's the man that his company handles my account. So we're going to go into more detail, not on this podcast, but what we're trying to do with our small business owners is really focusing on the key things in your business. And we'll be able to show you in future podcasts. And we have an online course coming out that we're going to offer to our small businesses that really have to have these basics down, because cash flow, as we've all heard, is king. So, Rich, when you took over my account, of course, it's into that discovery phase of really getting those financial numbers. I went a whole year with really not focusing on cash flow. So, with you, can you share the first insight that you have for our business owners, and we can talk about it and help them understand the value of a professional like yourself? What would it be?
Well, it's getting their financials in order. So if things are a mess, it's hard to make good business decisions,
Hmm.
and it affects cash flow. So you're doing a detriment to yourself by not having them in order. So, like your case, we start gathering information. How do we get on track to get you up to date, cleaning things up, separating personal and business stuff, to see where you're at. And then you can make those business decisions based on your financials.
What I totally agree with you. Everybody says have a plan, but having a financial plan is like blood to a human. You have to have it. Without it, you're not making sound decisions. And every day, I know for me personally, I'm making decisions, but I'm not making it based on having that information that really tells the health of my business. What I want you to go into that first one too is focus on cash and paid clients. What does that mean when a person is in that first year, they're making a lot of decisions? What would you tell our business owners as it relates to that focus and your insight, the number one?
Well, as they say, cash is king, right? So you need to get the cash coming in, get those paid clients,
Mhm.
reliable, steady clients, so that income is coming in on a monthly or a periodic basis, and getting that money in as quick as you can. And part of that is staying on top of your receivables, knowing how old they're getting, and making sure they're getting paid, because the longer it drags out, the harder it is to collect from clients.
Mhm.
So keys getting those good paying clients.
What do you know? I came out of the digital marketing business, and I saw a lot of people immediately get a website, immediately start pumping money into marketing without really, focusing on those clients, those paid clients. Do you often see that in your world that you are? Is we tend to get distracted by stuff that doesn't matter, and a website's not going to buy groceries at Publix. So talk to our 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 listeners about what does it mean to focus on the paid clients?
Well, it's taking care of your clients that are paying, and you know, making sure you're doing the job they hired you to do.
Mhm.
You have to have a social presence, and uh, marketing and website and that kind of thing. But the big focus is getting the clients.
Mhm.
So you do have a presence, but the main thing is working with getting new clients and talking to uh, your potential clients. Like for me, I've got to listen to them and find out what their pain is and
Mhm.
how we could help them come up with a solution um, that makes sense for both of us.
Yeah, it's I like how you said that. And there's a gentleman that I listen to, and he wrote the book Buy Back Your Time, and Dan is a very much a proponent of go after those paid clients first. You can put all the other stuff on the back burner, the website, sponsoring this, paying for this. Just go out and start asking for the business. And you prove your concept when you get people to pay you money. And what he shared, which made a lot of sense, is you go to some people and you say, I have this, and you're explaining your service, and they go, oh man, I love that. I'd get that. And then you say, okay, would you go ahead and get it from me? And they go, oh no. I mean I would, but I don't need. And they backpedal because people tell you things, but they vote with their dollars. So when
Mm.
you're out there building your business, until somebody pays you, it's just a good idea, or they're just telling you what you want to hear. You vote with your dollars. Once they vote with their dollars, you have a legitimate service. But until then, if you're asking for the business and they're stumbling, they're backpedaling, they're doing having every excuse in the book, then they're not true people that are going to put their money where their mouth is. And so be careful when you're out there, especially the first year, when people are saying, hey, you got a great service, but if they're not willing to buy that service because they need it, but if they're not putting their money towards that service, you really haven't proved your concept. Do you see a lot of the talk to our business owners out there, because people will, one, they'll just be in business, and I'll include myself, for a year without having accurate numbers, financial numbers. I mean, I can see my checking account. What do you see the pain of just running your business from your checking account? What are the things that they need to be aware of?
Well, first of all, when I obtain clients, it's usually a timing thing. They've got to, as I said before, they've got to have that headache of their bookkeeping, and like you said, is be willing to spend. So it
Mhm.
gets to a point where they've gotten big enough where it's too much time for them to handle it, and they're in business for whatever their profession is, uh, not necessarily bookkeeping. So they put that off. They don't want to do it, and so you fall behind,
Mhm.
um, and that's where they get in trouble. So for me, it's a time of they've gotten that headache where it's too much for them to handle. They don't want to spend weekends doing work. So, but they know the importance of their financials. And once they're at that point, then we're ready to, jump in and help them out.
Yeah. You know, Gary Keller with Keller Williams wrote the book, The One Thing. And if you're in business, you got to focus on your one thing. And your one thing, unless you're a CPA like yourself and have a business that helps people with their financial plan, everything else you do is not the thing you ought to be focusing on. So if you're in my business, which is podcasting, coaching, and live events, for me to get distracted with trying to be the financial guy, that's a train wreck. You know, focus on your business, not the other things that support your business. Do you find that when people say, "Hey, I'm not ready," what are they really telling you when they're not, they're doing it themselves and they're trying to save money, but what are the downfalls to trying to save money when it comes to a financial plan and not being experienced in that area?
Yeah, they're just not ready to spend the money. But as they say, time is money. So, what is your time worth?
Hmm.
And then apply that to doing the bookkeeping. There's so many things out there now that we outsource because there's everybody, there's different experts for different fields, so
Hmm.
marketing or, website, accounting. And so they're actually, it's costing them more for them to do it themselves because
Yes.
their time could be better spent on what their expertise is. And then, are they falling behind, or, are they making mistakes because they don't quite understand what they're doing? Um, and then if it's a messier, then, at the end of the year when they're going to get their tax return done, their CPA or tax prepared has to clean stuff up. So it ends up costing you more money to get it prepared. Probably takes a lot longer.
Hmm.
So if you're really thinking about it, you're trying to save money, but it's actually costing you more.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a client that he will often say he doesn't use your services, but he uses another. It's been like 6, 7 years he's used this person. And he said that was the best business decision he ever made because he has accurate figures and he can make those decisions. He can look at his cash flow, he can know where his business is, and he's more confident about building his business because he has accurate financials. I want you to talk about, and I'll talk with you because the last insight is market ask for the business. There's a gentleman that talks about that first year. He conserves his cash and he goes out there and he just gets out there. Some people call it guerrilla marketing, but it's really low cost or $0. But you're out there asking for the business. You're out there doing everything you can to keep your cash, but yet marketing your business. And a lot of people, including, I think the number is 6,000 marketing messages you get a day. If you're not careful, you're spending money where you're not getting a return. Do you have these conversations with people about how they're marketing, not marketing their business, but what they're spending on marketing that can help our viewers learn more about that area?
Well, yeah, you got to kind of see what your return on investment is in these marketing things. For example, business associations, finding out, what does it cost to join or attend a meeting, and then what kind of business are you getting out of it? So we've talked before is it more of a social thing or is it a business thing?
Mhm.
So you got to get out there and put your face in places and be somewhat consistent so people remember you. For example, in mine, they see me out there, and then in your case, you were trying to find the right bookkeeping services, and we met up, and then dawned on you, said, "Hey, yeah, Rich, let me hire him."
Mhm.
So, and we've met through the business association. So for me, it pays off to attend those, but you
Mhm.
really need to look at where you're spending your money or your time in marketing,
Mhm.
and is it paying off?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And yes, we've known each other for a number of years. And I have always watched to, just handle yourself. And, the idea that we hire a financial person because of trust, you gave me that trust image. And so I was looking for somebody that not only was a professional that I could trust with my financials. And I think how you communicate your business, you did that. You communicated clearly with trust. And so when people see you in the marketplace and they're looking for somebody to handle their financials, that's the decision that they make because they want somebody that's trusted. I want to go a little deeper into the marketing aspect because it is very common for businesses when they open up to be bombarded by marketing companies asking for their money. I want you to think of this. That first year, you have to start figuring out the market, asking people, talking to people. If you sponsor a luncheon, what kind of return are you getting? Because yes, it looks good on paper, and maybe you get a little bit of publicity from it, but you have to ask people that have done it, what have you gotten? And because you have to be honest with yourself about ROI, because there's a lot of choices today. It used to be the yellow pages, and you put your ad in there, and that was the primary source that people would get their information from. But now there's thousands of ways to reach your customer. So you have to be aware of your spend level. And I always like to tell people that first year, just go figure out the market, ask for the business, but don't spend anything you don't need to. You spend money on a CPA because you are giving them accurate information, and you can say, "Hey, look, this is where I am with my cash flow." So, do you do you get bombarded as a business owner with market people that want to take your money? Explain to our business owners the position that you're in, because I'm sure you get requests to spend money in the marketing arena.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bombarded, but yeah, there's so many choices out there,
Hmm.
and some are expensive. So you have to know your market and who you're targeting, and then what may be the best avenue to get your name out there
Hmm.
and attract the business, um, and see what works. I've done a couple that I thought, yeah, I need to market, and it wasn't too expensive, but and there was no return.
Hmm.
So probably could have researched a little more before going into one of the marketing things that I did. But for example, this was a like a newsletter that would go out to certain stores or
Hmm.
offices and whatnot. And so I went in a couple of them to see, and I didn't see any of those flyers there that they were telling me that they were supposed to be in. So, once that term ended, I didn't renew because there was no return.
Hmm.
So you kind of have to investigate and, see what price point that is acceptable to you, that you might want to try that marketing. But the key would be to know your market and know where, best place to market yourself is, whether it's a, print or in person meetings or events or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. I want to let our viewers know that Rich has is going to be helping our businesses with the financial knowledge it takes to be successful. So, if you want, I'm going to give Rich's information. If you're interested or know of somebody that's interested in really getting an accurate look at your financials and being able to partner with Rich, tell our viewers, Rich, how can they get a hold of you?
But as you can see, my contact down there, that's my office number. Um, and you can see in the bottom there too is my email address. Is a bit long, but best way is either a phone call or a quick email. Just say, ask questions and see where I could help. I like to meet with people and get an idea of what their situation is, and how to get them on the right path. That doesn't necessarily mean hiring me for services, but it could help down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said before, it's the timing thing. But I just like to give people general knowledge of what they need to do and what's important. And if they can't handle it themselves, I'd be more than happy to help them.
Awesome.
And that's where a phone call or an email.
Mm-hmm. Also, we got a course coming out where people can get access to it. But if you go to PeteKane.me, that's where you can book a podcast to be a guest on the podcast. But Rich has that coming out. But if you go to that, you can be a guest on our podcast. So if you're a business owner looking to reach your market in the Kennesaw area, we have a number of different podcasts. Rich will be bringing the financial podcast to you, so you're able to learn and to figure out how important it is to have that financial plan, focus on your cash flow, which is your paid clients, and learning to ask for business. If you're not good at asking, then you're not going to be successful. So you have to practice, you have to build that skill, and we're going to help you in your journey of that at this time. So go to PeteKane.me if you'd like to be a guest. And Rich, excuse me, has a course coming out. We want to help our businesses in the area and in around to be able to get that knowledge, because sometimes when you just open your business, you're not ready to hire a CPA, but I'll tell anybody, the first person you should hire is a CPA, because the most important thing to the health of your business is your cash flow and your finances. So, Rich, what would you want our viewers to take home from this podcast today?
It's just to learn, to understand how important your financials are to help your business and to make the right decisions, because you don't want to be 6 months behind, because that's not good for business. You want to be up to date and understand where you're at. Are you charging your clients enough? Your rates, what is your cost of goods to whatever your service is, and know what your numbers are, what they mean. So we like to help our clients understand what the numbers are.
Yes.
And cash flow being the biggest thing. Like the old saying is, or was, I still have checks, so I should have money in the bank. It's not. You need to know exactly what's in your bank account.
Yep. It's so important. I want to thank Rich. Thanks, Rich, for being on our show. And we look forward to you bringing more guided information about the financial plan and helping our business owners succeed. Because if we can help our businesses grow, then they're going to employ more people and our economy, will get better. So we want a strong local presence of people that have very healthy businesses. And I want to thank you for doing your part to bring this value to our businesses in the Kennesaw area and beyond.
Well, so thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And, I look forward to helping all those small businesses out there that need help.
That's so good. Thank you, Reg.
All right. Thanks, Pete.